Boom. Boom. We're live. What is going on? Look at me. Got two guys in already. It's Mikey Wine here, a.k.a. Gundamonium Works. Still working on the M1A1 Abrams tank. Doing nothing but photo-etch right at the moment. So, yeah, we'll get started here. How's everybody's Wednesday going? Pretty good, I hope. What's up, George? Nice to see you again. I know I heard you say you missed me a couple weeks. So yeah, it's good to bump into you again for sure. Since I've been dealing with all the family drama that's going on. But anyway, I got some good news. I just got a phone call, and the house is going to close early on this Friday. So one more box checked. That's the last of the things that we have to. The rest of the big things, anyway, that we really have to deal with. So, anyway, I got 3 sheets of photo etch here. Last week and the week before, I assembled. Sorry, I missed it. Oh, don't worry about it, George. I understand. I totally get it. Life gets in the way. Life comes first. Real life comes first. Even when I was doing reenactment and stuff like that, there's certain things it's just a hobby, right? But anyway, I can bring you up to speed here. This was the photo etch exhaust grill. It doesn't really want to focus for me right this second. There we go. So that's all assembled. That was fun. A lot of pieces went into putting that together. I still have a couple more things. I gotta put little tiny pins in the hinge here. But as far as that's concerned, that's done. Now this is an auxiliary power supply, and it actually mounts right to which would be the right side. Thanks, man. Would actually be the right side of the exhaust, and this has a bunch of buckles on it. Let's see if I can get it to focus for you. Come on, don't be finicky. There's a bunch of hinges I had to put on. There we go. It's a little bit better. Come on, get it. Almost there. Let me go a little closer. Maybe I can get it to focus. There we go. Come on. Almost had it. Oh, so close. So close. Anyway, there's a bunch of hinges and latches. Let's see if I zoom out a little bit. Maybe that's better. There we go. Come on. God, it's fighting. Fighting, isn't it? Stupid YouTube didn't send my notification. Oh, what's the matter? You should know I'm on at 6 o'clock sharp every day or every Wednesday. I'm pretty punctual about that. I don't usually start late unless something really gets in the way. But so this piece is actually done. These longer strips are hinges, and then there's a bunch of latches and buckles and hatch, like door latches. So that's just waiting to go on the back. And I started working on the top piece here. There's a lot of photo etch that's going to go on here, a lot of small little pieces. Starting with something a little bit bigger, this big grate on the side. There was supposed to be another one that goes in here, but it just did not fit correctly. I don't know. I mean, this photo etch set is for this kit, but it was not cut to the right size. And I tried to trim it down, and in doing so, I just ended up destroying it. So, unfortunately, that's not going to get done. But what you can see is there's little tiny, in these little hatches here, there's little tiny little handles. Those are a photo etch. And then you can kind of see this little piece here glowing in the light there. That's a little tiny channel. God, it's so hard to get it to focus. But what that's for is the headlights mount right here. Okay. And so there's a wire that doesn't come with the kit, but I have extra wire here. So there's a wire, that electrical wire that goes to that. And then it goes right in that channel. And then it comes up and kind of takes a turn here and goes across the fender, and then it goes into the body somewhere like right around here. So that will be mounted or glued in place later once I get everything done. So what I'm going to start with is the other side. I put this one on. I got to glue one on this side, and it's basically a 3-fold piece of metal. So there's a bracket, has 2 screw holes that you can see on the photo etch, and then it's just like a J, basically a J-shaped bracket that holds that wire. What's up, Mechadio in the house? How you doing, man? Good to see everybody coming in and joining. It's nice to get back in the groove after being gone for so long. But anyway, for those that didn't hear when I first started, you guys popped in just a second ago. The house is going to close a week early. It's closing in 2 days instead of on the 17th. So good deal. What's up, Nick? Manny, that's right. Make a deal. That's Manny. I always forget who's who sometimes when they're going by tags and stuff like that. I forget who's who, but I got a little parched. I don't know what in the lips. So one of the things I won't be using, and it's kind of unfortunate because they really look nice, but there's 2 pieces of photo etch here, this one and then this one, and they're basically like gauges that go inside the cockpit where the driver would sit. They're basically supposed to be mounted inside this hatch on the bottom side of it. But the problem is that all you would see is those 2 pieces of photo etch. There's no interior for this kit that I know of. There's no interior like cockpit where they because see you can display this hatch open like that. So you'd have basically these control panels here. So I Googled the driver's seat of an M1A1 Abrams, and it's pretty cramped. So basically, if I put those 2 pieces in there, it would just be an empty hole with these 2 control panels sitting there. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to worry about trying to build an interior on this thing either, unless somebody knows of something offhand, a third-party accessory that you can buy where you can basically build the driver's seat in here. But otherwise, it'll sit like that. But there is another little piece of photo etch that goes up on the top here and is made to kind of capture this hatch as it opens so it doesn't overextend. It basically stops right about there, kind of like just halfway slide open. So there will be a piece glued there too, but I'm going to do the other side here first. So if you hadn't seen my previous broadcast, this is my little photo etch bender called the Bug. Very good company, made in the U.S. They had really good customer service. It was the smallshop.com. There we go. Everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to look it up. If you guys need a photo etch benders, they've got some really elaborate ones. Mine is pretty basic because I don't do ships. I don't have to have these really complex bends and stuff like that. But it does come with 4 sides that you can choose from. I primarily use the large flat side here. So I'm going to cut this piece out and we'll start bending this thing. It's really quite easy, this piece, because it's just 2 straight bends. But I need my magnifiers because, man, this stuff is small. So I'm going to cut this out. Then I'll have to probably clean up the edges just a little bit because it leaves just a tiny little burr. I have to cut it off of the sprue essentially. And I'm using diamond files to clean them up. Counting the months to 12 months to retirement. Damn, must be nice. I still got years before I can retire. And the problem is I've been doing my trade for 30 years now and I am beat up. I just came home today, it's just sore as hell because my back is just destroyed right now. But you know what? It's nice to know I'm an hourly employee again. I can come in and work as hard as I can, and I go home at 3:30 every day. So should have retired decades ago. Oh yeah, James, you haven't worked a day in your life. He retired. By the way, and if anybody doesn't know, James is younger than me, so basically all he's saying is he's been at home. He got himself a nice little sugar mama. So I'm going to do the first bend here. Basically, I just insert the piece along where the line is. How did I do this before? Oh, that's right. I did it this way. So I went the larger piece, line it up where it bends, cinch it down. And you take your razor blade. You can see the little piece in there. You didn't know what work is. I know. So then you just take your razor blade underneath and bring it up 90 degrees. And now you've got your little bend. You can actually see it on the front there. We've got one more bend to do. So now that we've done that one, I'll loosen this up. Take it back out. Turn it around to the other side. Oh boy, this is the fun part because insert it back in. Come on. I did lose a piece of photo etch on this kit already. It flew off my tweezers and I don't know where it went. Fortunately, it was just basically a wire, so I was able to take some copper wire and fashion a new one. So then we just work it under, bend this up. All right, so now we've got both bends. Looks good so far. When do we get to see it? Okay, I'm going to put this one on the screen. No, this is not going to transform into anything, okay? When do we get to see? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not going to make it transform. All right, so really tiny. There's the finished product. See how it's kind of like a U or J, I should say, a J shape. So now I got to glue it on. I could just cut all this stuff out and bend it all up and then install it all, but for me, it's funner to put a piece on. And what I typically do is I'll just put a drop, because it's such a small piece, I'll put a drop of glue on the paper, and then I'll take the back of it and just touch it on there. It doesn't take much because it's really not a very big piece. It's going to go right on in line with this body weld. Oh boy, there we go. Kind of comparing it to the other side, make sure I get the right height. All right, yeah, there it is. Let that sit for a second. Now you can see them kind of shining in the light there. But both of those little brackets are there, and those will, yeah, it is tiny. A lot of this stuff is small. Remember, this is 1/35 scale, so there's some pretty big pieces. But when it comes to like the little battery straps and all that, there's some tiny pieces, and that's what I did. I lost one of these little buckles right here, that little U-shaped buckle. One of them went flying, so I took a piece of copper wire and I made a new one. So I'll take the hatch off so I don't lose that. But there, that's on there and ready to go. So now when I get that wire is going to be glued into the end of the light here. And then it's going to kind of take an S curve and go into that channel and run right along the fender until about this point, and then it'll take a turn and come out here. It's kind of like a big Z-shaped wire, but I'm going to have to glue it down in straight sections because I don't have a rigid piece of wire to bend it. I'm just using some of my scrap LED wire. So looks better and simpler than Abrams. This looks better and simpler than the Abrams I had from Dragon. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Manny, because this is the first modern armor tank I think I've ever built I'm not even sure when the last time I did it. Even as a kid, I don't even know if I've had anything. That's my brother chiming in because they just found out too that the house is closing early. So this is done. This is all kind of done. The front of this hatch, I'm going to have to paint this first. And I think I'm going to have to do some, put the photo etch on later because after I paint this, I've got to put the little glass lenses in. This is where the pilot or the driver sits. Okay. But then on this front windshield here, there is actually a set of wiper blades that go on from the photo etch set. So that's why I'm going to have to probably glue that on last. So I'm going to wait on that. Obviously, not going to be able to do that now. What's everybody laughing at? What are you laughing at, Angel? The wiper blades? Actually, let me see if I can show you. They're on here. Let's see. Yeah. So they're right here, just above the corner. If it would focus, you could see. You can kind of see it. It's a strip and then two little kind of dashes coming down. It's kind of hard to see because of the reflection, but and I'm horrible about getting this in camera. Anyway, they're there. I'll take some close-up pictures when I start posting stuff, and that way I can put some photos up. So the other thing I've got to do, I've also got to cut these front fenders off because this is a piece of rubber, kind of like a mud flap. And there's two photo etch replacements that go in place of that. So that didn't work out. This is also another thing I can do, but I'll have to take the tracks back off. Is these disc brake looking things right here in the center, those go over this outer sprocket, the drive wheel. So I'm going to have to do that too after I take the tracks off. So what we can do, let's see, what else can I do on this? I'm not sure. Oh, there's one more piece that goes here. That's right. 39. What else would like rummage through? Say what? Are you setting me up here? Is there anyone else that would like to rummage through Mike's leftover parts bin and backlog closet? Well, yeah, you guys. I'm sure you'd love to rummage through my backlog closet. But yeah, no, just no. What was that? 39. Let me see. Is that on this sheet? Nope. No, this one goes up to 32. Okay, so 39 must be over here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So again, another tiny, tiny little U-shaped bracket. Carefully cut this off. All right, so let me show you what I'm putting on here if I don't lose it. So that's what I'm gluing on. It's basically a handle, and it goes right on the outside, right over here on the side of the tank. So I've got pretty good sized nub on this. I want to see if I can cut off some more of it before I try sanding that down. It's really difficult. Oh shit, I just bent the fuck out of it. Well, that did not work out. Fortunately, I've got a second one if I need it. Straighten that back out. Stuff is so small that it does bend quite easily, so you have to be careful. All right, there we go. I'm just going to have to sand it off. And basically what I do is I just pinch it between my fingers so I can hold it steady and then just run the edge of this file. We all know George has way bigger backlogs than any of us, probably. So I'm just going to run the edge of this across the top and get rid of that nub. I may have to straighten those handles back out. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to because it's bent. But you know, it's not too much of a big a deal either, because if this was a tank in the field, chances are some of this stuff might be a little banged up. It might not be 100% pristine. Cannot lie, it's ridiculous. Well, I was kind of doing what George was doing one day, and I was looking through everything, and I was counting how many kits I had, and I was just like, and I was thinking about how long it takes me to finish one. And I started adding up the years, and I thought, I'm not going to be alive long enough to finish all this stuff. So that goes right in like that. I haven't glued it in yet, but you can kind of see it right here on the edge. Little handle. It's got some massive like holes where they the molded holes for the original part is the. I'm gonna have to fill those with CA glue. It's the only way. Gosh, that's really bad. All right, let's just do that then. I'm gonna take some CA glue. I'm gonna fill these holes, and then I'll insert that part, because the part's not gonna take too much of that to flow out of it. I want this to dry flat without seeing these two gaping holes when I prime it. So I'm just kind of filling these holes first with the CA glue. There we go. Then I'll take one of my Q-tips here and just kind of take off the excess without making too much of a mess. And now I'll take my handle and insert it in there. Then hopefully when everything dries, it will look nice because it'll be nice and flat. I can even use probably a little bit of accelerator on here too. Okay. So there's that little handle, and it's right here. Kind of see it there. My camera is just it's being finicky today. It's getting so much lighter in the afternoons. It used to be dark by this time. But now I've got all this natural sunlight blowing in, as well as my overhead lights. So maybe that's why. So a lot of these pieces on this section here actually go on to the side armor pieces that will mount to the side of this. Oh, what up, fam? What's going on, Julio? Mr. Clippin' Nubs in the house. I don't remember if I've ever seen you in here. Maybe my memory is going, but I'm so glad to see you pop in and say hi, man. Very true, Mike, but that doesn't stop us from adding to the backlog. That is true. I know, I just bought some of an IPMS show 2 weeks ago. So we're talking about having too much in our backlog. We won't be alive long enough to finish all our kits, but we still add to it. But I found that Razor Crest, and I said, I told my friend maybe 20, 30 minutes before I found it. I said, if I find this Razor Crest kit, I'm going to buy it. And wouldn't you know, I found it. So, all right. So I got a couple more pieces maybe that can go on here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay. Some of this stuff I have to remove. There's a hatch right here. I've got to take off the latches and the there's some hinges that I have to actually remove with chisels, and then they'll be replaced with photo-etch hinges. That's what I had to do with these handles here too. There was already one molded in there, so I had to carefully slice that off with a couple of chisels, and then sand it, make it look nice, and then replace it with a piece of photo-etch. I think, if I'm not mistaken, those go on the exhaust portion. So yeah, let's do that. I'm going to take this little rectangular hatch here. It's got two like lever kind of handles that have to be removed, and then two hinges on the side, and then we'll replace those with photo etch. This is where it gets fun, because there's actually this raised detail that I have to make sure I don't damage. So I've got my 1.7 millimeter chisel. I've also got, I pulled out a 1.2. This one's wide enough, and not too terribly wide, but it's wide enough that I can just kind of surface scrape this stuff off, these details, because we're going to replace it with a nice new photo etch handle. Toys, yeesh. Agreed, my wife calls them toys. If I build 2 kits a year, yeah, that's right. See, that's the problem. I was doing the same thing. I'm like, well, it takes me 6 months anymore. I remember I used to smash out a Gundam kit once a month. But as we progress in the hobby and we push ourselves to do more and fix more, stuff like that, it takes longer to finish. Or we do dioramas or whatever it is you're building. I think the creativity level goes up, and that just adds to the amount of time it takes to finish it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just carefully removing one of these latches. The hinges are going to be a little bit more of a challenge because they're complex layers. The hinge goes over the edge of this door. So I've got to basically scrape off the top, the downside, and then the flat side on the other side. So it's going to be interesting. I think that handle is going to work out good because I put just enough glue in there that when it dries, it's going to dry flat. So when it's painted, you probably won't even see those holes at all. So that's, oops, I'm going to put my cap on here. Got a little bit. I'm just going to sand this ever so slightly. That looks good. I scraped it pretty flat already, so it's not going to need a ton of cleanup. And plus, the new latch is going to go in its place, so even if there's a slight blemish there, I'm not going to see it. Sounds like you got the next 25 years, yeah, planned out. I don't know if, well, yeah, I don't know if we got the next 25 years planned or 25 kits planned out, but I want to get to that Razor Crest. I think now that I see it, I'm just like, I've heard mixed reviews. The guy that sold it said it's probably the best kit they ever made, AMT. So I'm like, well, that sounds like a salesman, but if it is as good as he says it is, it does look like it might need some rescribing on the panel lines because they're maybe not as crisp as I'd like them. So you can kind of just redraw those lines and sharpen them up a little bit. Anybody want to see the Razor Crest? I can go grab it really quick. For those that weren't here for my show and tell after IPMS. But you just give me a thumbs up or say, yeah, show us the Razor Crest, and I'll go grab it. Take a break from this real quick. So now I've got to shave off these little hinges. And this is a curved edge too, so it's going to be a little tricky because I'm going right up against that raised detail as well. Just slowly removing material. That's pretty good. I'm going to go along this is going to be a little bit tougher because of that edge. All right. If anybody, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's two dogs going at it outside my window. Yeah, you haven't seen it? Oh, okay. Angel hasn't seen it, so good enough for me. I'll get back to fixing those hinges here in a second. I'm going to go grab the wrench crest. I sent you a picture of it. You just didn't see it on screen. So here is, now there's mixed reviews on as far as what the scale is, because it doesn't have it says authentic scale model kit. It doesn't actually have a scale on the box. But I did say somebody, or I saw another advertisement, I think it might have been Amazon, where this was listed as a 172 Razor Crest. The cool part about it is it comes with 2 sets of decals. So you can have these nice, the decals on it, you can have them nice and pristine, or you can have the weathered version of it, which is all beat up and chipped and everything else. It does come with a pilot. It comes with little baby Grogu in it too. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's the decals. So you got the worn and beat up ones, and here's all the nice pretty ones. Somewhere on here, I thought it showed. Oh, there it is. It's on the back. So here's cockpit, little Grogu and Mandalorian. This is screaming for fiber optics or lighting or something. What do you think? It's big enough. I could certainly put some LEDs in it. I think it's over 13 inches long, is what another advertisement said. So this is just the main body section here. This is big. This is like the front of the cockpit, and then the back door and the hatch. Another one of the body pieces, but pretty big. Yeah, I think I'll have to go over and maybe rescribe some of those lines. So anyway, that's how big is it? 13 inches, I think. It says 13 inches long. I think that's what they said. When it's fully built, whatever. No, I have not opened it yet. I opened the box, but I haven't opened the individual bags or taken a look at any of the runners really up close. I just looked at it very briefly. So yeah, that might be the next one. We'll see how I feel about it when I get done with this, because a lot of times I say, yeah, I'm going to do this one next, and then I get there and I go, something else has piqued my interest now. So I got the first hinge out of the way. I just got a little bit of sanding. Then we'll be ready to, I got one more hinge to take off, and then we can put some photo etch on. So there we go. Yeah, the nice part about this is I go over it, take off that little, the raised detail that I want to remove, and then I can use the chisel as an actual chisel and smooth out the imperfections, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm just going along the edge of that, taking off the rest. Oh, sorry if I missed it, but where did you buy? Oh, yeah, I bought it at IPMS Seattle Spring Show 2 weeks ago. One of the vendors had it there. I did win a lot of kits, though. I won more in the raffle than I did in the competition. You want to get me started on the competition? Yeah, there was a lot of issues with judging. I don't know why that is. It just seems like maybe it's just the IPMS culture. Maybe it's just the way that they judge kits. It's the way I was trained, what I was trained to look for seems to be overlooked quite a bit. But again, that's why judging is subjective. So it's not always going to be in your favor. I certainly raised questions, though. Yeah, I know you would, because I know you're part of your chapter there in Massachusetts. I'd love to talk about it too. I'm certainly not bashing IPMS. The organization is great. I used to love the one chapter that I was in when I was in California. We did the Orange County one down in California, and that was awesome. This one up here has come a long way as far as now there's their own, they used to never have their own Gundam section or Gundam category. Now they've not only got one, but they've got several Gundam categories, including an out of box, modified 144, 1100s, modified dioramas, stuff like that. So in that respect, yeah, I think it just comes down to educating the people who were judging. And I was kind of upset that not that many people that I knew actually came to the event. A lot of the people in the local Washington State Gunpla group did not show up. Well, at least ones that I know. There's probably a lot of new members that I haven't met in person yet or weren't and didn't know who, that I might have even run into them during the show. But the people that I expected to be there, like the admins and maybe even some of the moderators like myself, would actually show up, and they did not. So it is what it is. Like I said, I did better in the raffle than I did anything else. Okay, so I got all those hinges off and the latches. Now I can go back and replace them with this stuff. So I need two number 42s, and I need two. Wow, these latches are actually two pieces each. So there's a 67 and a 68. Yeah. Ooh, and I got a bend. I got to put a bend in each one of these. 68. There's three of them on a sheet. Where's the 60? Oh, there they are. Okay. So I see. Okay. Interesting. So the way this looks, yeah, there's a handle, and then there's another little L bracket piece that attaches to that, and then that goes down on each side of this, and then the hinges, number 42, those are three-way bends as well, like a Z, or yeah, like a Z-shaped bend, essentially. 42 there. Oh, that's 42. Oh, okay. So it is. Wow. That doesn't show any. Most of the time when there's a bend line on these pieces, you can actually see the line in the part, but this does not seem to have that. Why is that? All right. Well, here goes nothing. We'll do the hinge first. All right, that's one. I got two of them to cut out. 42. Must not be much in the way of that hinge then, because it looks like it takes it. The bend goes like this, like just like a Z. But when you look at the actual part, there's really only one defining detail that tells you where to bend it, and that's like where the actual pivot point of the hinge would be. So I guess I'm just gonna, because this isn't very well, it's got some decent height to it. So first I'm going to clean up those edges from cutting it off. I don't lose it first. So that's a hinge. Let's see. Can you see that? And that's got to bend. Come on, focus. Focus, focus, focus. No, it doesn't want to. My wife wants to hear Arnold. It's been a while since I've had a request. All right, Julius, this is for you. Well, actually, for your wife. So what should I say? Let's see. Let's put it this way. I'm going to give you just a tip. Then I'm going to turn you around, look you in the eye, see what's going on inside when I turn it back and forth. There you go. Don't make me come over there and kick your ass. It's time to quit screwing around. Get to work. All right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting to work. Okay. I clean up the edge on that one. I'm going to do this one. I used to have people ask me to do their voicemails and shit at home. Oh, come on. I can't get this one. I'm going to bring it over to the edge. There we go. George, you have no idea. I have won. I won $900 seats, or no, it was $1,200 worth of tickets. Two seats, $600 seats to a UFC event doing that voice on the radio. It's been one of the few impressions that I can do very well. Very impressed, and since it really sounds like, yes, I know, I've heard this before. I'm not bragging, it's just something I've been able to do for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this hinge bent the right way now. So first we're going to go in. Yes, gosh, what side of Yeah, I guess I go here. Once I get this lined up, then I can cinch it down. There we go. All right, there's one. Now the other one I have to bend down. So what I have to do is actually put this in on the side. Hoping I'm doing this right. Take this and bend it down. There we go. What's nice about this bender is you can come in from any side, really. So there you go. What I've done is I've taken that and bent it, and let's see if it focuses, like almost like a Z. See that? So now this is going to go in place right like that. Looks perfect, actually. So now I just got to duplicate it with the other hinge, and then I can glue that one on, and we'll be done with it. So pick this up over here. I remember one time I started working at a place, and I was in the bathroom, in the stall, you know, taking care of business. And nobody really knew me yet. You know, I wasn't there very long. They knew me enough, but so I'm in this stall, and this guy walks into the bathroom. One of the other, it was like a parts guy. He walks into the bathroom, and I go, "Get the hell out of here!" And I could almost hear him whispering to himself, like, "What the fuck was that?" You know. And I said, "Goddamn paparazzi trying to take a shit in peace." I started yelling at him and Arnold, and he was just sitting there going, "Oh my God." He had to wait until I came out to see who it was because he was just blown away. Like, who the hell is doing this? That was so funny. So look at that. They've got 2 hinges now. That's right where they were. Let's see. Yeah. That's going to look good. I'm going to glue those in place, and then I'll get to the other handles. Where are we at? 646. Doing good. And so they follow me into the bathroom. I can't even take a poop without somebody following me in here, wanting an autograph, want to take a picture. It's all bullshit. All right. Enough of that. Moving on. Okay, I'm going to glue this hinge down. So the first thing I'm going to do is, actually, I think I'm going to switch these up. I'm going to put this one over here because this one came out better. That one's going to be easier to see. I'm going to put this one over here. So I'm just going to take a dot, really just a dot of glue here. It's not much. I'm just using a toothpick on both surfaces. And then I can lift this hinge up. Pop it down in place. All right, now for the other one. And if you're going to put the toothpick in your mouth, make sure you put the right end in your mouth and you don't glue your lips together. That would be bad. All right, so before I put those handles on, let me show you those hinges. There's those 2 hinges. Now it focuses nicely right there. So now you can see how I had to do like a 3-way bend there. It goes the surface of the hull, and then up the lip of that hatch, and then over the top of it. So now we got to build these handles. It's going to take a little bit more time because there's more to each one of these. Oh yeah, and get rid of the extra glue before you stick your hand in it. Because I've done that before too. I always clean off my toothpicks to make sure I have no extra glue anywhere. All right, so the handles are 68. I've got 2 of those to cut off. Those are right here. Not a lot to these. They're so tiny. And guys, I'm just using a very sharp razor blade to cut these handles off, or to cut anything, any of the photo etch off, really. Because if you don't, and all you're going to do is just press down and bend the shit out of it. You got to be able to cut through that easily. So by having a nice, freshly sharp, brand new blade, typically be okay. This one got bent, but that's okay. We're going to straighten that out when I put it in the bender anyway. So these have a tiny little lip on them that is going to... Where'd that go? Shit, I just dropped it. There it is. It's like a flat spot. That's when they mount. There's two little tabs that come out. I have to bend those. First, I got to clean up the edge where the nub is. Just dropped it. And do yourself a favor. Work over your table, like well over your table, because if you drop it like I just did, you want it to land on your table and not bounce off. All right, that's one. Let's do the other one. There's actually two more pieces to these handles that I have to actually cut off. This will be mounted. They're actually glued to the handle. It's like the bracket on the other side. There's two tabs. So this one, the handle portion here has one of the tabs, and then I have to glue another one on. All right, that's pretty good. Now, I need two 67s. And those are... Wow. Oh, there they are. Okay. What I like to do is I'm going to use this as an example. When I'm cutting a piece of photo etch off, the little attachment nub will be sticking off the side. I'll get along the edge of the photo etch to where I can feel the edge of it and try to get as close to that as possible before I cut through the actual runner. And that way there's very little to have to clean up afterward. If you know where that edge is and you get as close as you can to it, you won't have a big ugly nib to try to get rid of. All right, let's get this out of the way. These are tiny, so I got to be careful here. This is what I had one of these things fly off the other day. I was literally just trying to pick it up, and it went, my tweezers just kind of twanged, and twing, and it flew out, and that was the end of it. I thought I heard it hit the ground. I have a floor mat, a plastic mat that my office chair is on. And I thought I heard it hit that, but I searched with a flashlight for 30, 40 minutes, and I finally gave up. It's gone. Fortunately, I was able to fabricate a new one with a piece of copper wire. I know what I'm actually going to do, I think. There we go. All right, that's one. So what's everybody working on? You got any cool builds going on right now? I know Angel's building a Lego. What was his name again? Is that BT? Little droid from the new Star Wars game. Shit, almost dropped it. All right. Yeah, talk about like carpal tunnel, man. This is some small shit. Remember when I did the F-14, there were some tiny pieces like this too. Really small stuff. Okay. We got a new hero unit for Warhammer. Oh, cool. Yeah, you got the Elend, the Elend Seeker Valkyrie. I remember that, George. I haven't been able to see most of your morning streams yet. I catch a little bit of it as I'm getting ready for work, but I can't watch the whole thing, unfortunately, so I got to go back and do it later. So now we're just going to put the bends on each one of these little pieces now, and then I can glue them together. I mean, this is the process of prepping these. This is what takes the most time, and then when you go to install them, then you got to glue them on, so it's tedious work. It's challenging, but I like it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Angel's working on the Goof 160 resin conversion. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Angel, that was the Zaku 2, like PG was the frame for that, correct? I think. Oops, these are going to flip over. I've seen some of the painted sections that he's got on that Goof, man, and it looks good. That's a monster too. Yeah. I'm trying to get this handle lined up so I can bend that tab. There we go. I think I'm going to have to clean up some of those nubs still, but when I get these glued together, it'll be easier to hold on to, and I can fix them then before I put them on. Most of it off. Still got that Zaku 1 sniper. Oh, that's right. But is that a PG conversion, James? I don't remember. Excuse me if I don't remember. With everything that's been going on in the real world lately, my memory has been just fried. It's been tough to focus on anything. Okay. Oh, so it is. Man, that probably looks good. I'm gonna have to send me a picture of that. I want to see it again. I bet you that's gonna look cool. All right. So I got the hinges on there. They're glued. Glue is dry. I can actually push that down. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Now I've got to very carefully glue these two pieces of this handle together. HIA. Oh, that's the company that made it. So I don't know how easy this is going to be. I suspect it's going to suck, but these are so tiny, and I've got to glue two pieces of photo etch together. So I'll try to just barely grab a piece of glue. Ah, where'd it go? No, I had it. Please don't fall apart. Good, it didn't. Ooh-wee. That was close. I dropped it, but I'd already placed the piece together, so it looks like it held up. Maybe. Yeah, it's together. Okay. So then this, let's see if I can get that to focus. That's the little hook. There we go. That little handle has to go on the kit now. So the handles go forward and backward, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they go like this. Okay, so I'm just going to dab the handle in the glue and stick it on here. Oh, let go. Stick it in my tweezers. Let's try this again. Thank you. I bet you that's the pictures I just asked for. Okay. And let that sit while I glue this other handle together. I've got my magnifiers on full. 4 times magnification. It's the only way I can see what the hell I'm doing. So I just grab a tiny little touch. Man, that glues fast. You have to be careful. I placed it on there and then I went to let go and it was already like glued. Already stuck. I think I gotta get it off now. Yeah, it's wrong. All right, need to start over. I've got out of control there. All right. It started to set in the wrong position and I was just like, nope, that's not gonna work out. So let's start over. I think I got glue on my tweezers. That's what's giving me a hard time. Clear that off. Okay. Let's try this again. Oh, gosh, I keep dropping it. It's so tiny. I'm trying to be delicate with it, but it's just... I'm also going to try to scrape off this glue that's on there now, which is pretty easy to do since it's CA glue on metal. All right. Grab this handle again. Not the handle, it's this. Come on, there we go. I think I got it. Man, that is not fun. Okay. This one glues in the opposite direction, so I'm going to spin it around. Ooh-wee. All right. Okay, man, we'll let that dry for a second. That was not fun. Well, actually it was still It's a pain. And I have to remember that I have these little ear pieces that I put on the back of these glasses to hold them on my ears, because these are a little short. And in the summertime, especially, because as I sweat a little bit or just get a little bit of perspiration, they start to slide off of my nose, and I'm trying to like look at something while I'm trying to glue it on or something, and my glasses are slowly sliding off. So now that these are kind of drying, I'll see if you can. There we go. You see those handles? Now they got two handles on and the hinges. Not perfect, but looks way better than the original molded piece, because there wasn't anything really sticking up. It was just like a bump that was supposed to be the handle. But now you can actually see a physical handle that you would pull up to latch that off. So let's see. Everything else is, I think this piece is done as far, except for the fenders. I still have to, I guess I could cut those out. I have to cut these ones off here, the plastic ones, the original ones. You have to cut off about a 1/4 inch strip across the front here. Double shot of the Matado Bacardi. Yeah, is that what's going to help me be steady? Is that what you're trying to say? Because it's definitely not easy. Some of these pieces are so small. I got a couple little hairs on there I'm trying to get off as well. Because when I dropped it, because it was getting out of position and I couldn't recover it. And I knew if I didn't, it was going to get glued in that position. So I had to just kind of separate everything fast and scrape the glue off and start over. But it looks like I got them pretty good. We'll see what it looks like with primer. I might need to smooth out. There's a little bit of a glue, some of that CA glue next to it when I placed it. So I might have to scrape off that tiny little bit, but it should be fine. Okay, yep. Hey, I'm not going to turn you down if you're offering up the good stuff. I know that's some good shit. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is go back to this piece here. I'm going to take this grill off because there's some pieces that have to go on the back of this. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they fit with this on. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they'll fit. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of grills. It looks like, not grills, but oh, and then there's also some brackets that have to go on too. So 59. That's the next one to do. Oh, that's not very big. And this is just a flat piece that's just going to go right on. There's no bending involved with this one, so it's a little bit easier. Only thing really left to do is clean up the nubs on it, but even on TV it looks small. Yeah, you should see it on my screen. I mean, I could go full screen with the laptop, but then I won't be able to see the comments, so. All right, I got both of those cut out, and I got to just clean them up. Time check, 7:10. It's getting late for old George over there. It's 10 o'clock. Is he going to hang for the duration or not? We shall see. How did I do that? Another thing you can do with these photo-etch benders is like I kind of bent the corner a little bit on one of these. So if you do and you need to kind of straighten it out, you can always slide it underneath and just kind of smash it down with the adjuster knob there and flatten it back out. So now I'm going to clean up this one. One more. You have to use diamond files on these, though. You cannot use a regular file. It just won't work. Okay, so this goes right on the edge. No, it goes up here. This goes right there on either side. Real easy. There's no special measurement here. And it fits right in the corner, so this is going to be super easy to install these. If I could just not drop it when I'm trying to pick it up. All right, let's get some more glue here. Sorry I missed it. Don't worry about it. Night, I'll see you, Julia. Sorry, I missed that. Have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Just going to get a little drop here with the toothpick. Easy peasy. Hang until the bitter shitter. That's funny. Well, good. I'm glad. I missed you. All right. So I got 2 or 3 more little pieces here. Actually, 4. I got 2 hooks and then 2 brackets. Let's see, the brackets, I got to do some bending, so let's do those. Oh, those are going to be interesting. So that goes that way, and then those, oh geez. Okay, these are going to be fun. It's like a channel bracket, so there's quite a few bends involved, and it's really thin, like narrow channels, so it's going to be interesting to. You got to plan out how to put it on the bender, because sometimes you got to understand when you're dealing with complex bends, you've got to know which side to bend first in order to be able to complete the other side without the actual piece getting in your way, because you make a bend and it's all of a sudden now the actual piece is in the way. You can't bend it the other way without damaging what you just did. So I think it's kind of like painting. You got to start from the inside out, but I don't know. We're going to see. I think that's the way I got to do it. I'm just going to clean these up real quick. These are some larger pieces, so at least it's easier to hold on to. I'm just using light pressure with the file too. I'm just trying to take the nubs off. It doesn't take much. Okay, a couple more on this side. Okay. That's one. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, I think what's going to be easier is move that aside. Is I've got to, you can see there's two lines down the center of this. And that's where I've got to make a bend on each side, and then I have to bend this edge back the other direction. So I think what's going to be easier is to do the two center bends first, and then move it to the edge and do the outer ones. So line it up. We'll do one, and then I'll flip it around to the other side. Okay. All right. Flip it over and do this edge. There we go. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. All right, so now I have the channel. All right, I'm going to actually add just a little bit more. Now I've got to take this outer. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to flip this around so my long edge is on the edge here. So now I can actually slide it in from the side and bend that outer piece down. Or up in this case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the up. I'm going to bend it. Oh, I can't. I got to do it this way. Okay. I've got to almost do this blind. I'm going to have to flip it over and look at this side of it. Because the line I'm using is on the other side of the piece, so I've got to look at the bottom of it. Okay. There we go. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out, but we're going to try to bend it down. There we go. Look at that. Works like a charm. I'm just trying to straighten out my piece here because I've got to make one more bend. All right. That is not fun. It worked out good though. Okay. Last one here. I'm going to do this again after I get the other side in. All right, now I'm going to bend this down. And there's no real way to do this. I'm going to try to use the blade, but there we go. Just kind of forcing that down. That worked out pretty good. So now I took that flat piece, and then we have this. And these go on somewhere around, I've got to look at the diagram here. Somewhere around, gosh, I don't even know how high this is supposed to be. Somewhere around here. Okay, so that's going to lay across the grill. I got to almost put this on too and see. I think that works in conjunction with this grill here. So I got to kind of place that on there and see like how high it's supposed to go before I glue it down. So let's bend this last piece here. So again, I'm going to start by flipping this around. So I got my long straight edge on the okay. Do our 90-degree bend. All right, there. Good. We're going to flip it around. Other side. Okay. We'll do a second 90-degree bend to make the channel. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now I've got my channel, and I got to flip this around again. And get ready for these two. Okay. Take my blade, put it down, push this down. Whoa, I went too far there. A little too aggressive. That's all right. I can bring it back. There we go. Okay. Whoa, almost dropped it. And I got one more bend and we're good. Okay. All right. Almost there, guys. Thanks for being patient with me. So I'm going to put my blade in here and bring this down. And the first one came out better than this one did, but it's not bad. It's pretty good. You kind of work it with your fingers too and get it, straightened out, because it's, which is exactly what I just did, and it actually looks perfect now. So okay, so there we go. We got 2 of those channels now, and now those have to go on the back of that. So with that, we're going to keep working on this a little bit throughout the week. I don't get as much done as I would like during the middle of the week, because typically I get home, and especially because I'm still dealing with house stuff, my mother's estate and all that stuff. So I'm still dealing with that. So I'm always taking care of things and doing business during the week. So I'm going to call this one a show, and thank everyone for stopping by and coming in and hanging out. I really appreciate every single one of you. Tell your friends, hug your loved ones, because you never know, they might be gone the next day, right? So tell your friends, tell them to like, subscribe. I'm doing pretty good on the channel now. Starting to get a few more hits now that I'm back in town. So I want to keep this wave and keep this momentum going forward. But like I said, I appreciate every single one of you guys that come in and hang out with me every week. Thanks for commenting in the comments section. I'd like to hug you, but you're on the other side of the mountain. Yeah. I don't know. That might be a little uncomfortable. But thanks, James. We'll do a virtual hug later, and I'll look at those pictures you sent me, because I'm pretty sure if you're showing me, it means you might want to sell it. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to keep working on the photo etch, and then I'm going to hopefully get to the point where I can start priming everything. But I've got to get all the photo etch on. There's quite a bit that has to go on the turret section too. But all that too, some of that stuff's going to have to go on after it's painted, because it's like the hatch down here. There's some glass lenses and stuff that have to go in place. So we'll keep doing that. But anyway, need to do a road trip, Angel? Yeah, we can work something like that out. We need to do a road trip to Spokane. So in the meantime, we will see you guys on the flip. See you next Wednesday. Thanks for stopping in. Love every one of you. Have a good night, and we will talk to you next week when we'll see where we're at in this project. All right? See you soon.